I'm Kelly Raffelli. I'm the director at the International Programs and Services Office, and we are so excited to welcome you to Michigan Tech. Stay tuned to hear from the rest of the staff in the office, and you'll hear valuable information that will help you prepare for your trip.
Welcome, everybody. I'm Michelle Borsum. I'm the manager of International Student and Scholar Services in IPS. I'm going to talk to you briefly about your documents when you're traveling. So here we go. So please keep your passport and your I-20 on your body at all times. The United States Immigration and Customs Enforcement will ask you for these documents a few times during your trip. So it's very important that you do not pack these in your luggage that you will be checking at the airport. Make sure you keep it on you, whether that's in your backpack or in a purse. You want to make sure you take it inside the plane with you. When you arrive at the United States, you are going to go through immigration and customs. They're going to ask you lots of questions about your reason for coming into the States. Just remain calm. This is totally normal. It's their job. You may feel pressured or a little bit uncomfortable. However, just keep in mind that this is happening to students all over coming in, and it is just their job. So just remain calm, have your documents, be honest, and everything will go smoothly. You may not even be stopped, but your friend behind you might be. So it's a random thing. They will just pick and choose people and basically just talk to you for a little bit. That's all I have.
Great, so let's talk about your travel. So many of you obviously are traveling from all over the world to fly to the United States. You will eventually end up in Chicago, Illinois, because this is the only place to catch a flight from in the United States to Houghton, Michigan. You must fly to Chicago, Illinois, and then from Chicago, you will fly to Houghton, Michigan. So the airport is actually in Hancock, which is our neighboring town. And this airport is very small, really, really small. We also have lots of snowy weather, which Myra will talk about later. So oftentimes or sometimes the flight is canceled. If the flight is canceled, it's really important to make sure you go and talk to the United Airlines help desk, and they will help you figure out the next plan of action. So they may ask you if you want to fly to another airport. Please note that places like Green Bay, Wisconsin, which is 4 hours away, Marquette, Michigan, which is 2 hours away, Traverse City, Michigan, which is 7 hours away, are all really far, and you would have to get your own transportation from those places to Houghton, Michigan. So make sure you're just rebooking to come to Houghton. And not, if your luggage is lost or misplaced, there is a number you can contact. We have it on the flyer. And if you decide to take the bus from Chicago, know that that can be a 13-hour bus ride. So be prepared for that as well. If you decide to rent a car, make sure that you have an international license or that you are from a country that has reciprocity with the United States to allow you to drive in the United States. And when you rent a car, make sure that you know all the rules of United States roads and that you're having insurance and things like that. It's really important. There's also a website or a Facebook page called Stuck Huskies. This is a group started by students, and oftentimes people are shouting out on the Facebook page that they're giving rides or they're looking for rides. So if you search up Stuck Huskies Facebook group, this is a great resource as well.
Right. Hello, everyone. My name is Jamie Surdich, and I am an office assistant in the IPS. And this is actually my first arrival group that I'll get to meet, so I'm so excited to meet all of you. I'll talk to you a little bit about the transportation options for you today. First, when you arrive at the Hancock Airport, and then transportation offered around campus and around Houghton as well. So when you first arrive to the Hancock Airport, international programs will not be offering any rides to students from the airport. So you'll have to make sure that you arrange transportation for yourself. And we highly recommend doing that ahead of time. There will be a lot of students flying in. So you'll want to make sure that you have that ahead of time. So that way you don't have to worry once you arrive at the airport. In your arrival brochure that you've received, there are a lot of different transportation options around Houghton and Hancock. So they can get you wherever you need to go, whether that's an apartment in Houghton or Hancock or even Michigan Tech housing. And then in terms of transportation on campus, Michigan Tech's Transportation Services Department offers shuttle services to students, and that's actually at no charge. All you have to do is show your ID when you go onto the shuttle. So they have two different shuttle services. They have one that's on the main Michigan Tech campus, and then they have one that goes around Houghton area as well. So if you need to do your shopping during the weekend, there's shuttle stops at places such as Walmart and Econo. So that's something to keep an eye out for. Michigan Tech's Transportation Services website has all the shuttle schedules on there, as well as other shuttle options in the Houghton area. And that also lists the options as well to pick you up from the airport. So that's on there. Something to be aware of though, the shuttles currently have COVID restrictions to make sure they stay in line with the CDC guidelines. So for example, with their main Husky shuttle, there's only 10 students allowed on at a time, whereas the Houghton shopping shuttle is 7 students. So make sure you plan accordingly. If you plan on going to Walmart with your friends, make sure you stay within that limit because Transportation Services wants to keep this available to students, but they want to make sure everyone is keeping track of the guidelines so that way they don't have to put a pause on that.
Hi, everyone. My name is Mayra Sanchez Morgan. I'm the Educational Programs Specialist at IPS, and I'm very excited to meet all of you. I came to Michigan Tech as an international student, just like you, and I know what you're going through. Well, I want to talk to you about housing first and then about the weather. It's very important that you secure housing before arriving to Michigan Tech. Maybe your friend told you, oh no, don't worry about it. Once you arrive there, they will help you or there will be someone. But we have COVID restrictions right now, and there are many things that we just cannot do. And one of them is secure housing for you. So you absolutely need to have a place to stay before arriving here. If you don't have a place to stay, you will need to pay for a hotel or a motel. So IPS or housing or Michigan Tech will not secure housing for you. That's something that you will need to do. Well, there are a few housing options. One is on-campus housing, and they are different for undergrad students or graduate students. Most of the undergrad students live, especially the first semesters, at the dorms, and the graduate students live at the Michigan Tech houses or at the Daniel Heights apartments. For instance, I live when I was a graduate student at the Daniel Heights apartments. That's very convenient because with your rent, although it is in the higher range, all the utilities are included. So you pay your rent every month and you don't need to worry about electricity, heating, internet, and you even have cable. And as even mentioned, there is even a shuttle that runs from the Daniel Heights apartment to campus, and from campus you can go other places, and Jimmy already mentioned. But if you want to live on campus, you need to apply for that in advance. And we suggest you to contact the housing department. The contact information and the email is in the flyer that you're receiving in your email. So please go there and check that information. There is also a waiting list. For instance, when the first time, my first semester, I did not get an apartment because even though I applied in advance, I was number 63 on the waiting list. So I did not get an apartment my first semester. So I need to find I needed to find another option. But I got an apartment my second semester here. So please, for applying for housing on campus, contact the housing department. There is a very good resource, which is a Facebook group that is called Daniel Heights Residents, where students living in Daniel Heights post rooms or halls or living rooms that can rent to other students. You can join that group. You can also ask questions in that group, but full disclosure, Michigan Tech, IPS, or housing, we do not manage or monitor that group. That's a student initiative. So we're not responsible of any posts or any arrangements that happen there in that group, but still it's a very good resource. There's also off-campus housing. In the flyer that you received, there is a link for undergraduate student government website where they post where they have listings with options for off-campus housing. Those are good options too. However, you need to consider three things. One, you need to contact the landlord or the person who is posting that listing yourself, and you need to do your own arrangements there. So we're not gonna do it for you. Housing will not do it for you because Michigan Tech doesn't manage those listings. Those are people living off campus. Those are landlords, those are companies even. So please make sure that you contact them directly and you will have your own arrangements with them. Second, the distance. They might say close to campus, 2 miles, but 2 miles walking during the winter, that's not doable. That's really, really hard to do. Or if they say, if you see Shassel or Hancock or Calumet, those are different towns. That's not Houghton, and they are close if you have a car. But if you don't have a car and you're new to the area, please, we won't suggest, don't stay in those places unless you know someone that will be able to give you a ride every day. The transportation options that Jimmy mentioned do not include those areas. So the bus will not take you there. So consider the distance as well. A third thing you need to consider if you're going to live on campus is that your rent will not include utilities, which means that if you see that a room or apartment costs like $450, that means that you still need to consider every month more money for your utilities, for instance, for your electricity, your heating, the internet, and all that is in addition to the rent. So if you see a number there on the listing, that means it's the number for the rent, but you still need to have more money every month for the utilities. Well, as for the weather, if you are like me from the tropics, where you have never seen the snow in your life, coming here, it's fun. It's a very beautiful time, but it's very, very cold. I arrived in January too, so I know what it feels, have never seen the snow, and have never feeling this cold. So you need to be prepared for that. If you're for the tropics as well, you might not have winter clothing there available. Because for instance, in Mexico, no matter the thickest jacket I could buy will not work for here. So I suggest you come here and buy your winter clothing here. There are options here. There is Walmart, there are secondhand stores, there are other even students selling stuff for you. But you still need to come prepared. I will suggest wearing layers, and please do not wear open shoes. Come here with closed shoes. Even if you're not gonna wear a winter boot or a winter jacket, wear layers and wear like a closed shoes. Something very important is that the United States uses a different metric system than many other countries in the world. For instance, here the temperature is measured in Fahrenheit, and in other countries it's in Celsius. So if you see that the temperature the day you will be arriving is 32, that means 32 Fahrenheit, which is 0 degrees Celsius. So please consider that. All the numbers you see related to the weather will be in Fahrenheit and not Celsius. If you would like more information about the weather, what to wear and what to pack, please visit our newly admitted students section in our website. The link is also in the flyer that you received a few days ago in your email.
Back to me. So we're going to just talk about the COVID requirements when you arrive here at Michigan Tech. So wearing a mask is required to enter any building on campus. If you are not wearing a mask, you will not be allowed to enter that building. Stay 6 feet apart from others. No one is permitted to come to campus with symptoms consistent with the COVID-19. Students and employees are required to monitor their symptoms daily before coming to campus. there is a thing called the Daily Symptom Tracking Form. It's online. It's a short form that will help you determine if you have any COVID symptoms. You can visit this by visiting the MTU Flex website for the most recent up-to-date COVID information and restrictions.
Hi, my name is Janie Pindrell, and I'm a staff assistant at the International Programs and Services Office, and I've been here for many years, and my main job is to help all of the international students maintain their legal status. So the first thing that we need you to do is come and check in with the IPS office. Because of the COVID situation, we would like you to send an email to ips@mtu.edu and make an appointment for when you can come in. And we need you to bring your passport and your I-20 with you. It's also extremely important for you to update your US address and your mailing address in your BanWeb account. The reason why we have to have this right away is because without that, I cannot activate your I-20. And we will remind you many, many times to update your address because if I can't activate your I-20, the CVIS system where your I-20 was processed will cancel your I-20 after about 30 days. So we do need you to update your address in your BanWeb. If you have problems, send an email to ips@mtu.edu and we'll help you update your address. The other thing I wanted to mention when you're checking in with IPS is if you are supported by your department, we need you to tell us. Because I don't activate I-20s immediately. We usually wait until the last day to add or drop a class with a full refund, except for supported students. I can activate your I-20s right away, and it's important because you need to apply for a Social Security number, and you have to wait at least 2 weeks after I have activated your I-20 to apply for a Social Security number. And the reason for that is because at the Social Security office, they can't see that your I-20 is active for 2 weeks after I've activated it, because even though they're both government databases, they're different. So it's extremely important that you do that. For other students, if you get on-campus jobs, I'm sorry, but you have to wait until everybody else gets registered. Supported students are required to be enrolled full-time, and we know that they're going to enroll full-time, and that's why I can do it a little bit early. But the two main things to activate that I-20 is to be enrolled full-time and to have a US address. So please don't forget your address. And that's it for me.
Thanks, everyone. So the most important message to take away from our little video today is it's really important to read your emails from IPS. We will send you updated information on a regular basis that has really important things you need to know. It is your responsibility to maintain your immigration status. We are here to help you do that. So that means we're sending you information to help you do that. Once you arrive, it's really important to check in, as Jamie said. You'll also get an email about an orientation that we need you to participate in, and Life at Michigan Tech, which is a required class for all new international students. You will receive information about these two things probably soon. So thank you all for listening to our video. We are really excited to meet you. We can't wait to have you part of our Husky family. Safe travels, be safe, be well, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.